Welcome back to Airstream design using the SketchUp program. This is lesson 1c. What we're going to do from where we left off in the last section is we're going to take this pattern that we've created and form it into the center section of our trailer. This should be a component. We went through that process, but if we click on it, what I want you to do is take your selection arrow, selection tool, click on it, and we should see a box around it indicating that it's a component. Now I'd like you to double click so that it highlights the entire piece, and click again until we get everything highlighted, the inside as well as the outline. Now we're going to use the offset tool to create the thickness of the trailer, or the second inner shell. So we're going to create the outer shell and the inner shell at the same time. Click on this tool, draw it down to the edge, and what I want you to watch as we're using this tool, down here is a box that says distance, that's going to give us a measurement of what we're pulling. So I'm going to put this, and actually you could do this anywhere on this edge. Click it so it's here and pull it in so that you see that it reproduces the same shape but makes it smaller. Now let go. Now you'll notice down in our measurement box it says 2 1/4 inches. We want it 1 1/2 inches, which is the normal thickness of the two shells on a trailer, and we need to type that in. So you're going to type 1 space 1 /2 for half, hold the shift button down and hit the quotes key, and so we now have 1 1/2 inches. And when you press the enter key, this will jump to be exactly a 1/2 inch spacing, so that we now have our 1/2 inch spacing. Now we don't want the fill and we don't want these other two lines, so hit the space bar to get your selection again, and use your scroll key with the shift. Remember, scroll key shift makes it so you can move your item around, and what I've done essentially centered this part in the center of the whole screen. Then I'm going to use my scroll key. I'm not going to push down, I'm just going to roll it to move in closer. And what I want to do is I want to extend this line to the edge. So I'm going to change my selection tool to my line or pencil tool. Remember, we could use the pencil up here and click on it, or you could just push on the L key on your keyboard, which will change it to the pencil tool. And I'm going to draw from here right straight across. Notice that the line is green, which means it's on the green axis, and that's what we want, and click. Now what I want you to do is go ahead, and this time we're going to hit the M key, which gives us a move tool. Let's go back to the space bar to get the selection tool. A little practice there. Now using your scroll button, hold it down with the shift key. We'll slide across. Now I'm using the to move this around. I'm holding the shift down the whole time. So while I'm holding the shift down, if I hold the scroll key and push it down, then I can move it this way. If I let it up and just roll it back and forth, I can move in and out. So this is a very easy way to move around. Again, I've held the shift key down the whole time, so I can move to different places, or I can just roll in and out. Again, what we want to do is we want to take this line and continue it down to this edge. So push the L key to get the pencil tool again, click, and bring down. This time we want the line to be blue because we want it on the vertical axis, and click. and hit the space bar to get the selection tool. Now I just noticed that I've got a shadow on here that's kind of interfering with my drawing, that when I started up I inadvertently had the shadow tool on, and I want to turn that off. So I'm going to go up to Window, click on Window. I'm going to click on the Shadow button, which opens up my shadow window, and I want to use Sun for shading. I want to click, turn that off. I want to turn the display shadow off, and there's the shadow gone, and I can click on this and get rid of that again. Okay, we'll use that a lot as time goes on because it really helps you see what you're doing. Now if I click in these areas, notice how they highlight separately. That means these two little lines I put were successful in separating this section. I want to use my select button, click on the line, hit the delete key, and I'm going to delete everything but the shape of the inner and outer shell lines. Now if you'll notice, what happened is the pattern that was back here on our original trailer as we were making it, it ended up matching what changes we made here. That's because the component here and here were still linked, and so whatever I do with this one will happen back here. And for our next step, we really don't want that to take place. So I'm going to click with my selection key just outside in the gray area until I can see nothing is selected. Come back up and click and select this component. Now I want to separate this component from the one back here. So I'm going to right click on this component, come down to the window and click on Make Unique. And then I'm going to click on the background to deselect that, and then click on it again to select the section. Now what I've done by that process, this inner outer pattern is completely separate from this one now. If I make a movement here, nothing will happen to this one. Later we'll want to use that function. Right now we don't. Alright, so we have the outline for the inner and outer shell created. What we want to do next is I want you to double click on the selected pattern, and then what I want you to do is use your scroll key, roll in, and click again so that you can see you just have the gray intersection highlighted. Now we want to use the pull tool to extend this out. The pull tool, if you look up at the top, is this little tool here. It shows us a little box with an arrow coming out of one side to show that we could pull this or stretch this. You can get this tool by pushing the P key, or in this case I'm going to go back and just push on the tool and come down to this section. When I bring it over that center gray section, if you look very carefully, you can see the pattern pops up that shows that that's what we're going to do. With the pull tool, over the gray, click the left button and move your mouse, and you can see you can pull the section right out. Scroll key back, go back and grab it again, and you can pull it again. Now what happens with Airstream trailers is they're made essentially in three sections: front cap, back cap, center section. The center section is what changes. The front cap and the back cap are exactly the same on all trailers of all size of a particular year. The thing that makes the difference, say, between a 16-footer and a 31-footer is the center section.